Hey everybody, welcome to Thirsty Thursday. Hi Susan. Let's dive into the topics this week that caught our attention, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that sort of stuff. Why don't you start off?
What caught our attention on the internet? I think one of the biggest stories of the week was Jeff Bezos and how he's no longer the CEO and somebody else is. While that in itself is not news, I've been having a lot of fun reading a bunch of pieces about who Andy Jassy is, because he's the Amazon Web Services head who's now going to be taking over, and what his claims to fame are. And there's lots of interesting things, but in the spirit of thirsty, what I unearthed was the fact that he's quite the epitome of the sort of Silicon Valley bro culture, and he used to host these wing eating contests for Amazon staff, and there's the pieces you're not going to read anywhere else. But what it did get me and what it did get me thinking about, Will, was the other thing that you and I have been talking about a little bit, which is the culture of Broetry on the social media platforms. And what that is, for those that don't know, is this idea of splitting up your writing into lots of like one-liners, which I have to admit I do.
Yeah.
And I've always said that, it's kind of poetry-like. It's, the origins of it is probably Shakespeare and the iambic pentameter, but I don't think that's how people are using it. They're using it to get people to stay on your post for longer, because, in social media, if you expand it and that dwell time on the post is really what determines how it does. So there's a lot of people who are now coming down hard on it and saying, unless you have something important to say, you need to shut your mouth and stop trying to write meaningless broetry. So that gave me a huge kick.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I just love that term, broetry. It's funny. I wanted to talk about something that Color of Change, they're a social rights group in the States. What they've done for Black History Month, they've created, and you can go to I think on their Instagram account, you can get access to this filter. It's a filter that puts like Congressman John Lewis, Black Lives Matter founder Alicia Garza. You can go where there was Confederate statues, or where there used to be Confederate statues. They've been taking them down all across the United States. And this filter does kind of an augmented reality, putting statues of these figures in their place. And I thought that was a really cool little thing to do. And then you can share it on your social. And you don't just need to do it where these Confederate statues, where you could put these statues anywhere, take that picture, share it on your feed. I thought that was a cool idea, a way to acknowledge the change that's been happening in the United States.
I like that. What else did we have on our list? The other thing that that was cool was Nike's new completely hands-free shoe. What it is that, this has been in the works for a while, and they've had various versions of shoes for people who are not able to tie laces along the years. But apparently this shoe's journey began in 2012 when a child with cerebral palsy wrote to Nike expressing some of the challenges, and they've been working on this, and apparently this is quite a complete job. Like, it works off of the idea that you use one foot to push the shoe off and on the other foot. So there's mechanisms in it which makes it open, and then as soon as you put your foot in, it closes back up. So I thought that was awesome. And I know that Nike takes a lot of flack for a lot of their inclusivity statements that are not necessarily backed up with action, but there is action, and when there's action, it's cool.
That is very cool. Something else that I thought was cool. So we spoke a lot, about Burger King in Europe, specifically Burger King France. So they have just launched a campaign to support local French farmers. And we talked about how Burger King did shout outs to their competition saying buy from them. They did shout outs saying buy from local restaurants. And now what they're doing is they've bought an extra 200 tons of potatoes grown in France from French farmers, and they're giving them away at the drive-thru. Everyone who goes to the drive-thru gets a 1 kilogram bag of potatoes from French farmers. And it's because restaurants aren't buying the produce they used to, with things closed everywhere. So this is Burger King's way of supporting that agricultural economy there in France. And I thought that's a really neat idea. I think it's called Love the Spud or something like that is the name of the campaign.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. It's cool when you take your sort of comms so far out of just words. I love it.
Yeah, very cool. Susan, something else I wanted to talk about was on TikTok a few weeks ago, this feta tomato pasta trend. Probably a lot of you have seen it because it's now on Instagram. It's everywhere. Like it's on food blogs, but it shows you this power of virality through these platforms like TikTok. It's such a simple, easy recipe, but last night I tried it. I didn't love it, but I tried it. My friends and I tried it. It was pretty cool that this has caused feta cheese to sell out in some places. Grocery stores are capitalizing on this trend and setting up little displays saying, here's your feta, here's your tomatoes, here's your basil, go make the pasta trend. I thought that's pretty cool how in a couple of weeks, this is like permeated every level. And my mom heard of it. So
interesting, isn't it? Like at one point you had to be like Ina Garten or Martha Stewart to have your recipe hit mainstream sort of cult following like this.
And it shows it's just like our attention span with everything. TikTok, it's like in a matter of a minute, they've put together how you quickly do these simple recipes. A few weeks ago, it was this folded quesadilla wrap trend that everybody was making. And you just see everyone starts imitating it, doing it. It's the simplicity, it's the hack of simplicity that people love. And it does really make you feel kind of a sense of, oh, everybody's in on this. And whether you're feeling isolated or alone right now, it is kind of something you can still be a part of. So I'm really into
these social, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm into these.
Yeah, there's an element of that.
Yeah.
I love that. And finally, in a nod to the heritage of Thirsty Thursday, which is that we started this as like an extension to the 4 a.m. report, our podcast that's released weekly, and we started to sort of recap the episode of the week and talk about it. So in this week's podcast, we talk some more about podcasting. That's basically what we've been harping on about, because I think as 2021 rolls out, there's a lot of people who've either been, just treading water on the podcasting front, or have been wanting to do it for a while and are finally realizing it's a thing. You might benefit from listening to this whole series. So check out the podcast series. All of January and Feb, we've been touching on a few of them, and it's worth listening to. They're all short episodes. So have a fab rest of your week, folks.
Bye, Susan. What else do we have on our list?
What was the last one?
Pause.
Wait, Jeremy, you might have to take this out.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some editing, Jeremy.
So have it, Jeremy, cut out that bit. Wait,
I thought you were done. Hold on.
So check out this.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, we're done.